Interested in comic book conservation, please join us on Facebook at the Comic Book Conservation Community, where we have a gathering of experts in the industry, and you can ask all of your questions that you need to know about what you need to do to conserve and preserve these beautiful works of art. Please join Dr. Paul from Liberty Hill Comics, Phantom Phil from Phantom Restorations, and myself, Captain Larry from Flying Elk Comics, every Sunday night on YouTube at 8:35 p.m. Eastern. We talk about everything comic conservation and what's happening in the market. So please come join us. You can find us at Liberty Hill Comics on YouTube and Flying Elk Comics on YouTube. Okay, so we've got our Planet Comics, the glue cover out. Now, this has been completely dried. There was some tension on it, which I suspected was going to cause the cover to split, which it did. So I'm going to go ahead and separate these, and we're going to take a look at the back side. And we're going to put all these back together through the leaf casting process. It'll be one cover once more. So let's take a closer look at this. I'm going to bring the camera down here so we can take a peek. All right, so what we're looking at right here is actually raw paper. This is not the glue. This is the when the glue separated and is attached to that first wrap, it lifted the piece of surface paper from here all the way down. So I scraped this a little bit just to double check, and sure enough, this is raw paper here. So the glue, well, safe to say, is removed from the cover wrap. So we're going to set these aside. They've been de-acidified. There's some nice clean breaks in here, just a little bit of gaps here, the staple, primary staple here, and a couple of pieces that will need to be basically folded back like right here. And this is dry paper, so I don't exactly want to make this wet or cause it to break off. Other than that, this I'm happy with the way this cover looks, and it's going to look wonderful when it's all back together. But in the meantime, we'll set this aside. Let's take a look at this first wrap. So this is the one that's going to be a little bit more complicated. I'm glad that the glue stuck to this one instead of that first wrap. What we're going to try to do is excise this glue. Now let's take a closer look at this. Okay, so let's take a look at these spots here. Let me move this down. There we go. So this is the actual glue. I can see the thickness of it. The best way to try to do this is actually to dry scrape it away and see if we can get down to that original paper. And as you see, I'm using a nice sharp scalpel here. I'm just trying to get this down. And if it won't come off or we make a hole, we are going to be doing leaf casting on this. So I'm not too worried about it. I just want to get off, all of this. And we're just going to work on this one spot here. This is a kind of a big project that we're undertaking. But you've heard us talk about on the show dry scraping. Well, this is exactly what dry scraping is about. Phil from Phantom Restoration, this is something that he does. He's my good friend, but I've never seen his technique. And I want to ask him to show me because that's just a proprietary secret. But all in all, it looks like it's coming off this one half pretty good. Now, there's some texture here. Now, this appears that the glue, well, what I'm scraping away is actually not the glue, it's it's the remainder of it's the part of the cover that's stuck. I'm sorry, this microphone's picking up and probably making horrible sounds for you folks at home on the video. So now we're looking at just the glue. So I removed the paper, the cover paper, that's what this is. And now we're looking at our good old-fashioned, probably Elmer's glue of the period. Now, I'm going to try and see if there's any way to catch an edge here, maybe lift it a little bit. It's not looking really good. It looks like it's bonded to the paper fairly well. Let's look at this from the other side. Now, as we can see here, this is the exact spot that we're working on. Everything looks good. Paper looks good. So now we have a couple of choices here. We can treat this chemically to soften it, which I may try just to see how it works, just like in a small spot. Or we can, if I can't scrape it off, we sand it with a light grit sandpaper, see if we can remove the glue, loosen it a little bit. And a third option is going to be just to excise it and cut it out, because we don't want any glue whatsoever in the book, because that automatically will give you especially this amount is going to give a purple label, which is what we're trying to avoid, because that's just what it had when it came out. So let's move on down here so you can get a closer look at the staple area. This one's really kind of a mess. So again, we're looking at a piece of the cover right here. Now what I'd like to do is try and salvage this piece and reattach it. Yeah, so yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of work. So I'm going to go ahead and try some experiments off camera, and once I find something that's successful, I'll bring it back and share it with you. Okay, so we're going to try a few drops of some solvent that Dr. Paul came up with the formula. Now what I have under here is actually that's a pretty ugly one. Let's get a different one here. We're going to use a piece of blotter right here. I'll go ahead and I'll center this dot over it. And this is going to hopefully take up some of the stuff that goes through the backside if it gets over. And I've got another piece of blotter right here that I'm going to press over it if I slip or make some sort of mistakes here. So let's take a look at it. I've got a syringe here, and I'm going to soak up some of this clear liquid, and we are going to just put just a drop or so in here. All right, let's see what this does. Right there. And there. Now this should react with the glue. Elmer's glue, we call it PVA glue. That's polyvinyl acetate. And we'll see what happens. This does evaporate very rapidly. My concern is actually around this area. We don't want it to attack the ink. Now, this is a solvent. So on the back side of this, I'll keep this pressed down. And what we want to do is see if this will gum up a little bit. Yeah, it's evaporating so quickly. Let's add some more here. Yeah. Actually, rather, we've already been through the water part of this, and all we did was end up separating the paper from the cover, or the glue from the cover, by removing the paper. So what I'm trying to do here is get this glue to soften a bit. Now it looks like it's starting to soften. So we got a little bit here. Yeah, it's starting to tear this paper though, so I got to be very careful. We're going to let this solvent go ahead and fully dry out and evaporate off, and then we'll see what we're left with. Okay, and so it did evaporate off fairly quickly. It's a little sticky, but what we need to look at is, did it help us enough that we can remove this without actually tearing the paper up? Possibly. Yep, I just made a hole. All right, so that answers our question. So it did soften the glue. However, oops, see, is that what I was talking about? I'll put a piece of blotting paper over here to soak up any stuff that gets loose. I'm going to keep picking at this a little bit because I really believe we can roll up some of this glue. Like I said, we are going to do some leaf casting. Now we have holes and paper to replace. But if I have to excise paper, I'd like to excise as little as possible. Okay, I'll let this dry out again. I'll take another peek. Okay, so it appears, again, this is all dried out, that we're getting that fine layer that we wanted to. I still want to leave some paper behind here, but we wanted to soften the glue here. Now I want to keep it a little bit gummy, but still got to be enough that it doesn't remove too much paper. Yeah, still kind of gummy. I think we're getting there. It's starting to rapidly dry out. So I think one more shot at this, and I'll call it a mild success. My biggest thing is I did not want to, remove any paper if I didn't have to. And we are going to wash this. And one of the concerns I want to, this recipe that we're using for this solvent, it is Dr. Paul's recipe. So I recommend you, if you want to take a look at his America's Best video where he removed PVA glue. And that's where I actually learned the technique. So you go to Liberty Hill Comics and support my friend's channel. He is a co-host with us on our Sunday show. Okay, it looks like I'm getting a little thin over here, making myself a nice hole, which we don't want to do. But I think we got the glue removed. All right. Well, that little science experiment worked. It was a little bit harsh, but it did remove the glue, which was our main goal. Let's see if we can clean this up a little bit, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so this is completely dried out now. It's very thin through here, but that's an effect of the treatment we're giving it. This is paper. It is discolored here. It's not glue. There's no stickiness to it. Everything's good here. Now let's take a look at the opposite side. And you can see where we were working. And as you can tell, I've made a little bit of a stain here. It's quite thin. And we are going to go through and add some material here. We'll do it on the vacuum table and thicken it up, and we'll clean it up and thin it out. The rest of it down here, you can see this is where our staple goes. I have not removed anything from down here. And all the way down here, we're looking at this full spine split. Well, I wouldn't say full, but about a quarter spine split right now. I'm sure I can split it some more with the work we're going to be doing on it, but I'll try to keep that to a minimum. Okay, so this is a spot we were just working on. I moved up to this one. I've already pre-scraped all the cover paper off. Now what I'm going to try now is a small sanding block. And this is 3000 grit sandpaper. And I'm just going to see if we can attack just the glue here. See if we can cut through it. I kind of doubt it. It's pretty tough stuff. Okay, I've taken the liberty of pre-scraping this upper hole here. As you can see, the paper's gone. There's a little bit of the blue from the interior of the cover wrap. So I put another blotter underneath here. And I'm just going to do the same deal, and I'll try to be very careful with where this goes. Okay, so looking at this, I think this is going to be our solution for removing the glue. I don't like using harsh chemicals, so I'm going to continue working on this off camera for the rest of the glue spots all the way down the spine. And because I'm getting a little bit thin through here, I got to be careful. I got to make sure all the glue is gone, which I think it is. This is just paper staining from the glue, but if I get any more in there, I'm just going to get too thin on the paper. So we'll go ahead and get this done, and I'll come back to you once all the glue's been removed from the rest of the book. I'm sorry, the rest of the wrap. And as you see, we got quite a bit left to do. So I'll do this all off camera, and then once we do that, once the glue's gone, I'm not going to be able to save this, sadly. It's just going to be part of the process, and see if we can get these stains taken care of, and then we'll start putting everything back together via leaf casting. If you liked today's video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. That way you can get a notification when I have a new video coming out or a follow-up to this one.